OSBC brings you the news. News across the country.
Good evening and welcome to the news across the country. My name is Moturayo Ayegbayo. President Buhari unveils newly redesigned Naira notes. Governor Oyetola inaugurates Governing Council of Ilesha University. Business news focuses on economic significance of souvenir. Ogun police arrest suspected kidnappers in Abeokuta. Now the news in full. President Muhammadu Buhari has finally unveiled the newly redesigned notes for the highest denominations of the Naira. The president performed the brief ceremony just before the start of the Federal Executive Council fact meeting at the council chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He presented to the public the new 1,000 Naira notes, 500 Naira, and 200 Naira notes. Present at the ceremony was Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi Esun. Others were ministers and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. The White President Muhammadu Buhari has nominated Loretta Onoche as the substantive chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Onoche is a special assistant to President Buhari on new media. The President of the Senate, Hamid Lawan, read the nomination letter sent to the Senate by the President at the plenary today. Lawan read out the other 15 members, making out the list for the NDDC, just as former Deputy Governor of Edo State, Dr. Pauls Odubo, General Charles Vabere is the Executive Director of Finance. Governor Oyetola has charged the Governing Council of the University of Education Ilesha to ensure that the institution competes favorably with others across the globe. Governor Oyetola gave the charge in his office during the inauguration of the Governor's Council of the University in Ilesha. Governor's Office correspondent Sayana Ridi has more.
The task before the pioneering Governing Council of University of Education Ilesha, Osun State, amongst other things, include expansion of teaching scope, research, community services, and producing graduates that can favorably compete with others from any institution across the globe. Inaugurating the Governing Council, headed by former Minister of Health and former Vice Chancellor of University of Ibadan, Professor Isaac Adewale, Governor Oyetola said members of the council were carefully selected because of their experiences and belief of the state government in their ability to deliver. The governor emphasized that converting the College of Education Ilesha to university was as a result of his administration determination to expand on access to quality education delivery.
Your individual character and rich experience in your distinguished professions, which are critical to the takeoff of this university, have recommended you for this appointment. I thank you for accepting to serve in this capacity. Are you all aware the idea of this new university has become necessary to further expand access to qualitative education, among other opportunities for our young population?
Speaking on behalf of other members of the Governing Council, Chief Akinwale Akinola thanked Governor Oyetola for counting them worthy and promised that the council will deliver on the mandate given to them. The inauguration of the Governing Council complete the task of implementation committee earlier inaugurated for the university by Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. From the Governor's Office, Saya Ononide reporting.
Osun State House of Assembly has passed the 2023 State Appropriation Bill of 138 billion naira into law. Speaking after the passage of the bill, Speaker of the State Assembly, Honorable Timothy Oweye, said the appropriation bill christened Budget of Consolidation will enable the optimal operation of the state budget cycle. Parliamentary reporter Oluwatosin Oladokun has the details.
Osun State House Assembly immediately began the budget defense exercise after its presentation by Governor Adegboyega Oyetola with the view to ensuring the timely passage of the draft estimates. Speaking after the passage of the 2023 appropriation bill, the Speaker, Honorable Timothy Owe, appreciated members of the Second Assembly for the timely passage of 2023 appropriation bill. Honorable Timothy Owe before the passage explained what informed the slight increment of the 2 billion naira on the estimate for the fiscal year, saying it is to ensure the seamless takeoff of University of Ilesha.
Any budget is a proposal as far as the appropriation bill is concerned. Although the governor proposed 136 billion budget size to the House, there was an increase in the budget, a sum of 2 billion, which happened to be the takeoff grant for the University of Ilesha.
According to the Speaker, the breakdown of the state estimates are personal expenditure 45 billion naira, reoccurrence expenditure 53 billion naira, capital expenditure 39 billion naira. Size of the budget is 138 billion naira. Also at the plenary, the House attended to Governor Adegboyega Oyetola's nominee as members of the Judicial Service Commission for the consideration of the House. The Speaker, Honorable Timothy Owe, equally appealed to the residents of the state to be law-abiding before, during, and after November 27 transition, just as cautioned the aggrieved members of the public in a cannot not to engage in mayhem over the Obership tussle, adding that the law of the land permits them to seek redress in the appropriate quarters. The Ilesha water project also caught the attention of the House as the Speaker bemoaned what he described as a facade job on the ongoing project in Ilesha.
The Ministry of Water Resources of this state, the consultant in charge of that water, Mrs. Tawa Williams, who are going to be the consultant. The Ganji, who I think is one of the subcontractor as far as the project is concerned, also all of them to appear before this House on Tuesday.
Oluwatosin Oladokun, OSBC News.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says the commission is not going back on its decision to upload the results of the 2023 general elections on its portal to enable Nigerians to have a real-time view of the results as they are being collated. He also said the use of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, has come to stay and that there will be no provision for incident form on election day. Professor Yakubu reiterated INEC's stance at the National Stakeholders Forum on the 2023 general elections organized by the Nigerian Civil Society Association Rome. It is close that the Commission is also partnering with necessary institutions of the country to track the spending of politicians during the campaign period and on election day. According to him, INEC will tomorrow publish a summary of the legal provisions for election expenses for Nigerians to also be able to monitor the situation. The Wire grassroots politician Honorable Azan Isiaka has implored the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC officers to conduct free and fair election in the coming general election. Honorable Isiaka gave the advice of featuring on OSBC current affairs program, El Laloro. The politician is also a businessman, added that the new redesigning Naira notes will add values to the economic growth of the country. The Osun State Executive Officers of the All Progressives Congress APC have expressed their gratitude to Governor Adegboyega Oyetola over the appointment of its chairman, Prince Boyega Famudu, as the Owa of Igbajoland. In a statement issued by the State Deputy Chairman of the party, Soko Tajulawal in Osogbo, the appointment of Famudu as the Owa of Igbajoland by Governor Oyetola was the square peg in a square hole. Lawal disclosed that the new Owa of Igbajoland is in every inch a monarch by conduct, speech and attitudinal dispositions to issues. The Osun State APC Deputy Chairman stated that with the identifiable track records of the new Owa, the community will be better for it, as his reign would attract spectacular development to the town. Ocean chapter of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers will hold its mandatory continuing professional development meeting tomorrow, according to a release by the state chairman, Estate Surveyor Adekunle Adeoye, and the public relations officer who doubles as chairman of the MCPD committee. Estate Surveyor Matthew Joe, the MCPD is aimed at gaining best professional knowledge, upgrading, and other opportunities. Professor Sheyi Adegoke of Department of Estate Management and Valuation, Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ile-Ife, will be delivering lecture on the MCPD theme, Valuation and Sale of Distressed Property in Nigeria. And this is the news across the country, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, amid news message. Aim for your dreams, but don't lose yourself along the way. Sometimes the road to greatness takes creating your own path. Business News Today focuses on economic significance of souvenir in political season. Odunayo Bitokun is a guide. Can report.
Is an object a person acquires for the memories the owner associates with it. Souvenir can be an object that can be collected or purchased and transported home by the traveler in a memory of a visit. Souvenir is an important component of tourist experience, with most tourists bringing back memorial and souvenirs as evidence people like to be reminded of a special moment. Many people like to take something home with them as a reminder of their travels, something to show for where they have been, something they can use to look back and reminisce about the fantastic experience they had during their holiday. Recently, report shows that political season influenced distribution of souvenirs to members of the public, which serve as another way to gain communities' interest of the electorate, especially in rural and urban areas. Locally made souvenirs have the benefit of having low leakage, but imported souvenirs are often sold alongside locally made souvenirs. The sale of imported souvenirs contributes to increase in revenues from the local area. Speaking on the positive and negative of economic significance of souvenir in a political season, an economic expert, Alhaji Karim Raji, explained that investing on souvenir distribution in the country will surely impact on the nation's economy.
Now that election is drawing nearer, whereby government will run election with billions of naira, and individual contestants will be forced to augment resources to meet their electioneering campaign and objective at all costs. All this will have a serious impact on our economy.
The economic significance of souvenir cannot be underestimated. It is the peak of political campaign, and such won't be completed with a souvenir. Odunayo Ibitokun reporting for OSBC Business News.
The Sokoto State Government has faulted the recent ranking by the National Bureau of Statistics as the poorest state in the Federation. The Permanent Secretary, Sokoto Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Azika Badinga, expressed displeasure at a one-day workshop on dissemination of the 2021 Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey and National Immunization Coverage in Sokoto. Reports have it that the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that 130 million, about 63% of Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty, with children constituting more than half of the poor people in the country. The Permanent Secretary dared the agency to come up with dates of any person found dead on account of hunger along township streets, including rural areas across the state. He explained that the welfare of citizens is not well matched with the related figure, and that they will continue to push for more positive results. The Permanent Secretary urged the relevant authorities to cross-check their findings and shun political infiltrations, foul play, and other shortchanges that might subjunctive in the findings. Police in Ogun State have apprehended 4 suspects that have been terrorizing Abeokuta and its environs. The Ogun State Police image maker Abimbola Oyeyemi identified the suspect as Ismaila Ibrahim, Musa Mohammed, Irekura Abu, and Okalawa Mohammed. According to him, the suspects were arrested following a series of kidnap cases at Shoyoye and Ibararile area of Abeokuta North local government. Earlier reports out kidnappers took over many communities in Abeokuta, leaving residents with no option than to relocate. Oyemi said the Commissioner of Police, Larry Brown Kole, had upon the report directed the anti-kidnapping team to move into the area so as to fish out the kidnappers. Oyemi explained that the suspect told the police that they were responsible for the abduction of one Kafayat Jalili, of Ugotitun area of Orile in September. 2 double barrel guns and 1 single barrel long gun were reportedly recovered from the suspects. The 9th annual public lecture of the OSBC Administration and Supplies Department holds tomorrow morning at the Open Air Studio Iliawi Okibale Oshobo under the chairmanship of Honorable Adebayo Komi, the Executive Chairman, Buluwadu Local Government. This year's lecture features 2 different pep tags and conferments of awards of excellence on notable Osun indigenes, including octogenarian Honorable Gabriel Oladipupo, Ben Shola Kilade, Lady Evangelist Olufunke Funtayo, Chief Adebayo Bayonle, and Honorable Adekunle Rufai. Members of staff of the department across the units of operation who have excelled in the various duty posts during the year shall also be honored with award of excellence. According to release issued by the Chairman Planning Committee of the program, Mr. Rafiu Wolabi, all invited dignitaries should be seated by 8 a.m. prompt. As the Chief Host, OSBC Director General, Mr. Rashid Folarami, will be glad to receive them while His Imperial Majesty Oba Abdurrashid Adewale Akabitelu I, the Oluwo of Iwo, and Oba Michael Olakitse Okpajime II, the Agbaiko of Obadimo Kingdom, are the royal fathers of the day. Monthly Congress of Nigeria Union of Journalists, Osun State Council holds tomorrow. A statement signed by the Council Secretary, Kombe Bukola Elufadeji, indicates that the Congress holds at the Press Center in the afternoon. The Congress, according to the statement, will be preceded by an extended executive meeting. General meeting of NGG Corporate Society will also hold earlier in the day. Members are therefore enjoined to be present and punctual at all this meeting. A power-packed prayer and praise program organized by the Christ Apostolic Church, Jesus City International, Zion Parish, Zone 3, Lakare Community, Okioniti Oshego, comes up tomorrow morning. Released by the host minister, Evangelist Oluwasekeredolu, indicates that make a joyful noise unto the Lord is a theme of the program, which will have anointed men of God in attendance. The release adds the Rose of Sharon Gospel Crew, Evangelist Osiakia, Evangelist Mary Ewa Oluwakeredolu, and other gospel artists will minister in songs. Special prayers will be offered by Evangelist Oluwasekeredolu for the artisans, marketmen and women, civil servants, students, the sick, the oppressed, as well as every individual who attend the program. The death has occurred of Mrs. Olufunke Abebi Tinubu, matriarch of the Olabisi Tinubu family of Iresi in Boluwadu Local Government of Osun State. Mrs. Tinubu died quietly in her home at the age of 84. In her lifetime, she was a school teacher and a church worker who devoted quality time in the service of God and humanity at the Baptist Church. Mrs. Olufunke Tinubu is survived by children, grandchildren, and other relations. Among them are Mrs. Adiola Shitu Alamu, a retired school teacher, Mr. Adidolumola Tinubu, General Manager, Radio Nigeria God FM Elisha, Mrs. Adeta Ojayesimi, a Lagos-based businesswoman, Mrs. Adewumi Lamina, a banker, and many grandchildren. Morocco have played a goalless draw with Croatia in their opening World Cup group game. Adeyemi Aboderi has an update.
International Christian Chukwu says the head coach of the Super Eagles, Jose Peseiro, may not succeed with the Super Eagles if he continues to work from abroad and relies entirely on foreign-based players. The former Super Eagles coach said Peseiro's employers, that is the Nigerian Football Federation, should have compelled the Portuguese coach to stay in the country and monitor the local league with a view to discovering talent that could form the fulcrum of his team. Chukwu, who captained the Super Eagles to their first ever African Cup of Nations victory in 1980, said the Nigerian Football Federation had prepared the ground for failure by abandoning local players as it did during the era of coach Gennett Rowe. The Super Eagles lost 4-0 to Portugal in a friendly game last week, which attracted widespread criticism. Meanwhile, chairman of the Interim Management Committee of the Nigerian Professional Football League, Benga Elegbede, says any club that fails to meet the standard set for facilities will have to choose another venue for their home games. Record that some clubs played their home matches away from home last season after they failed to meet up with the requirement. Addressing the press after a meeting with representatives of 20 MPFL clubs in Abuja. Elegbeleye said the clubs have been informed of the development. In the meantime, Ondo State Commissioner for Youth and Sport Development, Bamidele Ologun, has expressed the state government readiness to sell off the state-owned football club, Sunshine Stars Football Club. Ologun, who stated this during a press conference in Akure, said that what is important for the government is to develop sport. It disclosed that the state has been scouting for investors that will come on board and run the affairs of the club professionally, different from what had been done in the past. Portugal captain Cristiano Ronaldo has had his contract terminated by Manchester United with immediate effect. A statement from the club confirmed the termination of the contract by mutual agreement. The termination followed a controversial interview in which Ronaldo criticized the club and the coach. Saudi Arabia have declared a national public holiday following their shock 2-1 win over tournament favorite Argentina in their Group C opener in Qatar at the ongoing World Cup. The fifth game of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar produced one of the biggest shocks in the competition's history as the Saudis stunned their more experienced foes. Sport Update returns tomorrow. My name is Adeyemi Abodere.
And to end the news across the country, here again are the major points. President Muhammadu Buhari has finally unveiled the newly redesigned notes for the highest denominations of the Naira. As part of his administration's effort to ensure quick takeoff of academic activities at the newly approved and licensed University of Ilesha, Osun State Governor Mr. Adigwe Itola has inaugurated the Governing Council of the university. Business news focused on economic significance of souvenir. Police in Ogun State have apprehended 4 suspects that have been terrorizing Abeokuta and its environs. That was the news across the country, edited by Nathaniel Oyegoke and delivered by Moturayo Ayegba. For more about us, you can visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
It's entertaining. It's educating. Really informative. Quantitative news as it brings. It's OSBC Radio 2 104.5 FM. Women up on the south of the Sahara. Voice of the West.